Hey guys, it's Matthew here, and I just want to tell you a quick story just as an update for the GoFundMe. So if you've read some of our story from our trip to South Sudan in 2016, you'll know that our main purpose of returning was to take our friend Peter back to his home village called Awil. However, Peter hadn't been there since he was 4, and we didn't know anyone or anything about that village or the area. But when we boarded the plane, we were ready to see what was God going to do. And he did so many incredible things that were only possible because of who our God is. But there's just one story that I wanted to share with you today. So real quick, you need to know that Peter was one of 3,000 lost boys. And they were called that because of how long they were lost. And they were airlifted from Kenya to the United States. And there were over 20,000 people in that refugee camp, but only 3,000 were chosen by lottery to come to the U.S. before 9/11 happened and all the flights were canceled. So the lost boys were deposited all over the United States, from Minneapolis to San Diego, Oklahoma, New York, and Peter was sent to California. Now, all these years later, we're headed back to South Sudan, and we had a 6-hour layover in Ethiopia. While we were resting in this giant airport terminal, a tall African guy walks up to us and shouts, "Peter!" And we look up to see Peter and this man hugging and laughing. They had not seen each other in 17 years, but this man was also a lost boy and knew Peter from back in the refugee days. His name was Adam, and he had been dropped in New York years earlier, where he had done well in school, graduated high school, got a degree in business, and now Adam was coming back to his home village to provide training and resources to his family and his neighborhood. While that was cool in and of itself, like meeting someone from Peter's past in a country that neither of them had ever been to before, in an airport with strangers, it was crazy. But God was doing something bigger. So we told Adam that our plan was to take Peter to his hometown. And Adam was able to give us the name of a man living in Awil who he thought, might be able to help us. And the story has twists and turns, and just the people that God introduced to us on that trip were just bizarre. But every time we met someone, it got us a little closer to someone who knew something of Peter's family, like that whole story. And obviously that whole village with the massacre there was a big deal. So keep in mind that this whole time, Peter and us are confident that his parents, brothers and sisters, entire immediate family have all been killed. Like, there's no one else alive. We're just going back to see who, like, extended family might be there or something. Within the first full day of our arrival in Awil, which getting there is an adventure in and of itself, but that's a story for another time, we were sitting inside the compound when someone comes up behind Peter and taps him on the shoulder and asks him to step outside. And, I quickly got up, sensing that something was happening, like this was not normal, and especially since he's leaving the little compound area. And as I stepped out the gate, I turned on the camera to find Peter's older brother, an actual older brother who had just hiked in from the bush. And this is what we saw. Watch this video. So through a translator, we learned that Peter's brothers and sisters were not dead. In fact, they had been slaves all these years, held in Sudan, which is the larger Muslim country to the north, and an organization had recently freed them from slavery, and they had just returned to South Sudan. Now, keep in mind that none of this would have been possible if we hadn't met Adam on a random layover in a random airport terminal in a different country And this man, Adam, happened to know the cell phone of a man who happened to know that Peter's brother and family was recently rescued from Sudan and had returned home. By the end of that same day, Peter had been reunited with 2 brothers and a sister. They were not even together. We went and visited. They came from different places. So we've been praising God and just like glorifying him for all these years. There are so many stories like that from our time in South Sudan. Stories of God just doing things that only he can do and just blowing our mind. And we're so excited to see what he's going to do on this upcoming trip. So thank you for your prayers and support for South Sudan 2023 and for watching this video all the way to the end. I know that was long, but I hope you have a great day and God bless. Bye.